Hey there, it's David Barnett. I wanted to do an updated walkthrough of the Business Buyer Adventure program because I made a few revisions here, and this is an update from June of 2022. I do a revision of the program every year just to review what things are included in the program, what we do, the different tools and resources that members have access to. And I wanted to update the presentation, and I'll go through it with you here over just the next couple of minutes. So, first of all, Business Buyer Adventure is my group coaching program, and it is the program that comes after the Business Buyer Advantage online program. And so, what is it? Well, it's a hop on, hop off group coaching program with five important parts. So, what does hop on, hop off means? It means that new people can join at any time. And what I do to help get you up to speed so that you can participate in the conversations that are going on in the group is you go through this workbook that I have put together called The Next Step. It's a 12 module self preparation program, and it helps you in some important ways. Chiefly, it's to define the target business, to get ready to go out and speak with sellers. Within the program, you're also going to be able to learn from other people as they go through their journey. It's like having a front row seat to watch someone else go through their deal. And I'm going to get into some more details about how that works. There's additional exclusive content that I'm going to cover. There's the group coaching sessions where you can come and meet with the other people and myself and be able to put yourself on the agenda to talk about whatever deal you're working on or something going on with your search. And then there are different professional tools and resources that I have that I use when I'm working with buyers and sellers that people in the group have access to. So, first of all, the next step, the 12 modules, what is it that we cover in that? Well, it's defining your personal SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, assessing your resources, defining the target, and describing your BATNA. BATNA is a concept that is we go into heavily in Business Buyer Advantage. It stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement, and it can help you set up your framework as to what kind of deal you're looking for and what you're willing to do in order to obtain that target business. We're going to work on developing your seller presentation. We're going to work on networking and outreach, a plan for both brokers and direct prospecting. And we're going to create your suspect and prospect lists using some of the tools that I have access to in the group. And so basically, this initial part, the next step, is all about creating your search plan, defining exactly what kind of business you're looking for. Because one of the biggest ways that searchers waste time is by not knowing what they're looking for. And they simply look at what is presented to them, what's available. And that's not the way you do it. And so, what we do in the program is we help you define specifically what kind of business you're looking for. And once you know that, it's easy to go out and find those. So, the additional exclusive content, well, depending on the tier level of membership that you join, you got access to sending me questions either through the group Facebook page or through email. We have deal review videos that get added to the adventure calls. There's a private Facebook group where you get to meet and mingle and share information with other members of the group. People come across interesting things all the times that they share in the group, and most importantly, share news like when someone has accepted a letter of intent or they get, and this is a great one, when one of their prospecting efforts from a year ago suddenly bears fruit. And so one of the things that you don't often get to see online is the exact timelines and the realistic flow of how these deals go. You're going to be able to learn from the adventure call recordings, and you can see here there's over 140 of those now, that sometimes people meet a seller and spend a year talking with them on and off before a deal gets done. And and the reality of deal flow is often not accurately communicated in other places online. But when you listen to a year's worth of adventure calls over the course of a week or two, when you're listening while you're walking, jogging, working out, hiking, etc., you get to really appreciate the actual reality of how these conversations can go. Every month, I have a guest expert that comes in to talk about either something to do with deal making or operations, because everyone in the group will one day become a business owner. And so these expert guest calls, they're all in there. There's over 50 of them now, and they're in depth how and why conversations with real skills discussed that are going to be applicable to someone who's buying a business. There's a Fridaygram, which is a special email I put out to group members every Friday with all of the interesting tidbits and things that I come across over the course of the week, articles, videos, podcasts, etc., that I think are interesting that have to do with buying and selling businesses. The Buy a Business Roadmap basically is your project timeline that you can print out and post in your work area. And then something called a Deal Maker Dashboard, which is an organizing tool that some of the members use in order to keep track of their progress towards their readiness and execution in their search. And so these are all included in the program. Access to tools and resources. So I pay for these private databases for industry reports, economic data, transaction samples from different private databases. And the latest edition is I actually have a company list database that I subscribe to now for USA and Canada. And this allows us to create tailored lists of potential target businesses that are within a certain geography or a certain industry. And so members of the group get to query these, and I can provide information to help you in your search. There's the historical archive. This is the recordings of all the adventure calls. So I already touched on some of this. You can listen to past members and experts all the way back to the creation of the group. And it's easy to access this because of how we deliver it. You can get access to it right on your smartphone. So you can be driving, commuting, hiking, walking, etc., and listen to some of these older calls. And you get a printed, updated catalog of all of this stuff. And the reason why this is important is I've done some coursework on adult education, and adults learn differently than children. And sometimes the interaction in a tactile, real world sense with a document that lists out, and it's not transcriptions or anything, but each call basically is documented with what topics were discussed during that call. So some members have reported to me that they've listened to calls and then later they've gone through the binder, and you get an update every second month in the mail. And they've gone through the binder and they've read through the topical timestamps and have highlighted things and gone back to old calls and re-listened to stuff. And there's just all kinds of tidbits of information that you can pick out about that. So who is this for? Number one, you need to be a graduate of Business Buyer Advantage, the online course. It's a prerequisite. And this is simply so that you're familiar and you're up to speed with all the concepts, jargons, the terminology that we use when we're discussing this. It's for someone who's looking to buy a business, and that could be someone who's looking to leave a job by way of acquisition, or somebody who already owns a business who's looking to grow through acquisition. Currently, about half the people in the group are already business owners and they're looking to grow through acquisition. This is for people who can manage their household spending and savings. This is for positive net worth people. It's not for broke people. And if you don't have liquid cash available, then it's something that you and I should discuss during a discovery call before you join the group to make sure that there is a realistic plan that you can execute in order to come up with some amount of money that's going to be able to help you either with a down payment or other costs in doing one of these acquisition deals. So there are 3 levels of membership. There's the Explorer member, which is the most basic level. So you get access to all the stuff we've been talking about, the next step modules, member spotlight calls, 3 adventure calls each month, with the exception of December, July, and August. There's only 2. You get access to the Facebook group, brain picking via the Facebook group, so you can post questions in there anytime. And if there's an adventure call upcoming that you can't make because of a schedule conflict, what people do is they post questions in the Facebook group, and we will still discuss it during the adventure call, and you will be able to listen to it afterwards. There's the analysis calls, the expert interviews, the industry and economic research reports. There is a limit to the amount of data that I can pull out in those databases. And so for some queries with a lot of results, there could be an additional charge. It's like 20 cents a record. It's not a big thing. There's industry and economic research reports, and the membership is paid quarterly. There also, from time to time, are opportunities to join with an annual fee. But the reason why it's quarterly is that I need people who are committed at least for 3 months, that they're serious about this, that they're not trying to just dip their toe into the water, coming in and out for a month. So it's at least a quarterly commitment. The Deal Maker membership is the next tier up. It's all the same features with the exception that you get one private monthly 30-minute call with me. And if you need any additional one-on-one calls with me, those are available at a 25% discount. You can also send me emails. And again, this one's paid quarterly and brain picking via email, that is. And then the Tycoon membership is the topmost level. And this is really one that I created for people that are in the midst of working on a deal and they want ready access to me all the time. Basically, it includes all the features we've already discussed, as well as 10 hours of telephone access to me over the quarter, and regular Zoom meetings, whatever works for you, to help you work through a deal. So there are members who've done prospecting work to find an opportunity, and then they get into an LOI and they start to get into the end of things and they want greater access to me, and they'll upgrade to that Tycoon membership. And so here are some statistics on the group since it started in 2018. Typically, there are 20 to 25 people in the group. So some people have come and gone over the years. There are a couple of members in the group who've been in it since its inception. So they've been with it the entire time. Those are people who've done acquisitions and intend to do some more. About half the people in the group are already business owners. And sometimes our conversations are pretty insightful. We'll get into topics of integration and operations, and the existing business owners are able to contribute some great wisdom and insights for some of the other people that are getting to this for the first time. There have been about 80 people that have joined over the course of the years. 17 businesses have been acquired by people while they were members of the group. But here's the most important thing. Hundreds of bad deals have been avoided. And that's key because people will often ask me, David, what's the success rate? How many people buy a business? In my opinion, the bottom two bullet points here on this slide, that 17 acquisitions have been done and hundreds of deals have been avoided, both of those are positive outcomes. Both of those are successes. If you join the program, you learn more about acquiring a business and you avoid a bad deal. And even if you never end up buying a business, in my opinion, the program will be well worth it because you'll end up spending a few hundred or $1,000, maybe $2,000 on your membership over the course of time that you're with us. But if you can avoid a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 error or $1 million error in your life, then it's going to be well worth your time. And so, if you have any questions, if you have concerns, if you're not sure if it's for you or not, head over to businessbuyeradventure.com. There is a link there, a Calendly link that will allow you to book a 22-minute phone call with me. And we can talk about your situation, talk about your position and what your desired outcomes are. And I can let you know quite honestly if joining this group is something for you or not. And with that, I'll thank you for your time and hope to hear from you and have a little chat with you if you think that this is something for you. Thanks.